Yes, I was just saying a moment ago, I really appreciate Julio being here tonight. He was one of the first people to welcome me into Brazil in a very warm way. And so I know you all have been reporting a whole lot of conversations about everything from, what happened last year and may or may not have happened last year and the financial fair play issues. So I think it's important for people to understand that presidents can still be friends. They can be very civil to one another. They can advocate for their public policy sort of viewpoints. But as a friend, I will say it was great to see him here. That was a true warm embrace, because, we haven't seen each other in a long time. And as I said, he was, back in the days of Libra, he was one of the people that really gave me the warmest welcome when I came to Brazil. I think it's flattering, right? When I was here 2.5 years ago, I had 3 players that had played in Serie A. I bought the team on March 11th, 2022. It was reported that we bought it earlier when the contracts were signed, but that's not true. It was March 11th, and the season starts April 15th or something at that time. So we had to build from nothing. And so yes, it's probably true in terms of investments in buying the contract rights to players, buying assets. I had to build from scratch, from nothing, whereas our competitors have big academies and they've got big revenues and they've got big budgets. So of course I would be spending more than they're spending to build my team, to be competitive. I remember a really nasty 17-year-old fan that would always send me notes on Instagram. Most of the time it was hard, so he would tell me how much he loved me and we'd lose a game and it was nothing but, harsh language. But he said, just build for us a competitive team. We just want to compete. So that's what I've been doing. Secondly, related to that point, the SAF law that the legislature passed, I'm doing exactly what that law anticipated. So I don't know why it offends other clubs. The structure of those deals is they hand you the club and you commit to put a significant investment on the balance sheet. Well, would you rather me buy, posters and stanchions, or would you rather me buy assets, players that can grow in value? And our players are growing in value. If I buy a player for 20 million and he makes the Brazilian national team, well then maybe he's worth 30. So the SAF law invited foreign investment. The contracts with the clubs require that I invest a lot of money. Now that I'm investing wisely, our revenues, I'm sorry to tell people this, but they're up 5 times from $20 million US dollars to $100 million US dollars in the 2.5 to 3 years since we've been here, right? So we're building an organization, we're building a team, we're making investments in players, and we're spending considerably less than the financial fair play guideline of 75% of our revenues on player salaries. So, I think Landim the other day said, well, we need to pass rules because places like Brazil don't have these rules, and if an investor comes and takes advantage of the fact that we don't have the rules, we're in total compliance with every definition of financial fair play around the world. So I think I was the first to talk about financial fair play when I did my Globo interview. I said if we don't do something about a salary cap and we invite foreign investment and it comes from sovereign wealth nations with unlimited money and oil, like then we really have a problem. So I'm an advocate for financial fair play. But please don't come and look at Botafogo and say we're breaking the rules and we wouldn't be able to do this in other countries, because we would. Thirdly, is it thirdly? Right.
I think
yeah, it was a long, number 2 was long.
Second.
Right. So thirdly, the multi-club issue. We only have one advantage as a multi-club over other clubs. And I'll say what it is. It's called trust. I'll get to it in a minute. But when I have a problem with a center back and I need to go to another club somewhere else in the world and find a center back to come in, or when Cuiabana went down and I needed an additional left back, right, to support Marçal, I could go out to another club I can make a deal with them. I can find somebody that's not playing a lot. I can bring him back here. I can find somebody that just came out of contract, like Alex Telles. Strange situation. He was out of contract all of a sudden. And whether I'm making a deal with another club or making a deal with one of my clubs, I still have to go to that player. Indentured servitude ended a long time ago. These players are human beings. They're not sheep. You don't just get to tell them where to go. So I have to go to the player, convince them of the project. This is why it's good for your career. Maybe you're not playing now, or maybe you're not under contract, but come to Botafogo and help us win championships. So the only thing, when you talk about fair play, every club in Brazil can do the same thing I do. Pick up the phone, call another club, find an athlete, sell them on the project, bring them to Botafogo. The reason people are coming to us now is they like our project, right? And if it wasn't Adrielson, who came from our club, it's Vitinho, who came from another club. It's Alex Telles, who came from another club, right? So fair play means everybody has the same opportunity. Every club can be a little more creative and do the things that I'm doing to fill the gaps on their roster. That's fair play. Lastly, the SAF law means every little club has an opportunity to go out and find an investor, put together a business plan, make a proposition, tell them that Criciúma is a great opportunity, and let that small club under the SAF law bring an investor. It brings money into Brazil for the benefit of the economy. That's why they passed the law. It means that every small club can win a championship. And what they're talking about now is, hey, change these rules. If investors show up, we've got real problems. If multi-clubs show up, we've got real problems. Don't let them tell you that they need fair play, that the little Botafogo is suddenly not playing on a level playing field. This is Palmeiras and Flamengo and these big clubs complaining. I mean, it is a bit laughable, right? So I believe that every little town in Brazil should dream of winning a championship, and you shouldn't tell Criciúma that you don't get to ever win a championship. All right, so I love Rodolfo, I love Julio. This is a good public policy debate. I'm going to talk to some of the other presidents. I think we should have this conversation out in the open, maybe a big panel. We all get together, we let the public hear, we respectfully exchange ideas about the future of Brazil football. This is why we should do the league that we talked about, so we can have these kind of productive meetings all the time as leaders of these clubs. But that's what's got to happen. I don't think a group of 5 clubs should get together and say, we're going to meet, make suggestions, and we're going to tell everybody what to do. Does that sound fair? So I welcome the debate. I mean, don't read too much into the fact that I don't go down to like São Paulo to watch a game. I mean, I do have a family that lives in Florida. I've got other clubs, and I do look at the calendar. I'll just admit it. I love the home games. I love the love. I don't really like going to other stadiums and watching people lift their middle finger at me. You know, it's just, or that expression, I'm not going to say it, the expression that the São Paulo fans were yelling at me when I was waving to them. But no, just because I don't go to another game doesn't mean anything. I might have a game at Lyon. Next week, I've got our first trip to Europa League. Olympic Lyonnais is going to play Olympiacos. Olympiacos is owned by a very good friend of mine, Marinakis. I'm going to go to that game for that reason. I'm not avoiding São Paulo. I go through the airport in São Paulo all the time. People are very nice to me when they're not in the stands screaming at me, but in the airports and the malls, everywhere around Brazil, I think people do appreciate that I bring good ideas, bad ideas, but I do bring new ideas, and I feel a lot of love from fans around Brazil. So I'm not avoiding São Paulo next week.
Whoa.